ready for this. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We're going to have, of course, our next game coming up, OpTic versus Team Baidu. This is going to be a fun one because, again, we've seen plenty of OpTic, so seeing more of them I don't think is an issue. They're 2-1 right now. But Baidu, they're one of these wild card teams that you were hyping them up especially.
I'm hyping them.
They're a bunch of, Chinese-American players that kind of came out of nowhere, I feel like.
Yeah, I think, well, if you play pubs, you've probably played, I mean, Brax has probably played. You've got, like, Baidu King, who is a known rager, but also a known game winner. Like, you have very weird people where people aren't good and they game rage, you hate them, but people are good and they rage, you're like, well, game-by-game basis.
You'd rather win, right?
Exactly.
That's all that matters.
Yep. And as well, hello, MRP. Are you here, my good friend?
No.
Hello. Just kidding, that wasn't him. That was me.
He's here.
Tricked ya.
MRP.
Now, before we get into the game, though, so it turns out you were not lying. You were right. The
when have I ever
was
lied?
true.
Like
That's
today.
Dangerous question.
When?
Like
Fact.
in the last 5
Hello,
minutes, when has he
MRP.
ever lied?
Aloha, gentlemen.
Hey.
Lovely to hear your voices.
You as well, my friend. How's it going?
Going great, man. I need you to channel some of that analyst Grant for me. I know Observer Grant and Play-by-Play Grant, shout out to them, have been doing work through the qualifiers here, but I'm going to pop in and ask you this question. Team Baidu King, you basically called it from the beginning that they were a threat to make it through qualifiers, open qualifiers, and they did. Now, most people consider them bottom 3, right? But do you think there's a chance they squeak into top 5 here and ruin someone's day?
I think with how Complexities looked, I think they could easily beat Complexity for the 5th slot. I actually do. Complexity.
Really?
I don't know about Immortals, right? Immortals could have Goku'd into the time chamber and become great, right? No one's seen them. Like, we just haven't seen Immortals.
Immortals was in this event until you said that. That's true.
I think Baidu King Stat can definitely beat Cole as well as Immortals and get up there. I'm hyped.
Yeah, so the one that I would think is like on the fringe is definitely Immortals, but like you said, Complexity hasn't necessarily looked as strong as they have in the past. So will be interesting to see that like bottom 4 or 5 fight for those last 2 spots.
Man.
All right, I got the draft here. So we were going to possibly preview the Immortals, but we'll save that for later.
Sure. We just looked. Yeah, MRP. Did you see Immortal 2 is finally out?
I did. That Viper Immortal looks.
Let me check for you.
Kind of creepy, but everything else looks.
It's like Venno and Viper had a baby. Is what that is right
sick. That is sick as
bit.
hell.
There you
Okay,
go.
is that good? Yeah. That's sick. If you don't think that's sick, then you're a sick person. That's facts.
How
I mean, it's cool.
Physically?
It's just. Oh, that's actually pretty cool.
Oh,
The
whoops.
animation of the Nether Toxin. That's pretty sick.
Yeah, sorry.
I
If
like
you on our screen, MRP, we're looking at the draft as well as the Immortal 2. We are actually we are on some production level stuff I could not do.
You know, I don't know where Rob and Eric are when you need them, but I was definitely expecting a floating head of mine sitting beside you there.
Oh, that would have been sick.
Keep going, Juggernaut.
Damn.
Doesn't have a big
This
sword.
one's cool.
Yeah,
This one's really cool.
Okay, Immortal 2 is sick.
But in
Like,
game,
alright.
I thought it was like an orange sword, though. Yet here it's showing like a purple pinkish.
All right, well, we've already got drafts.
I don't care. Okay, go to
I
the
want
next
to see
one.
Jug spin.
Yeah, we're still waiting for the spin break. We
Okay.
can talk about the drafts in between that. That's sick. But a Warlock opening, I think we've all talked. Warlock is on the fringe of being broken. I wouldn't say he's broken, but he's a very good hero. And they just bring it up with a Bloodseeker.
He's like one of those guys you can't ban because you don't want to use a ban on, but he's still like in that first phase in every single game.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It's been seen. We saw Visage not banned last game against OpTic, but 3 out of the 4 games, Lycan and Visage have been banned against OpTic. The 3/3 heroes, there's a specialties for him. The same case here.
One of the
Another Immortal 2 hero here with the Doom.
We'll see if he has it. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
he might, but this one is not as like flashy.
Well,
we'll see what it looks like. It's not as flashy though.
Haven't seen the Devour animation.
Yeah.
Don't know what it looks like.
Exactly. But I like Doom. I think a lot of teams have been actually falling off of Doom. I'm not really sure why.
That's
like,
kind of cool. I like
just
that.
other offlaners have been coming up, and Doom kind of fell out a little bit more. I don't know if anyone else knows why.
I think the big problem with Doom is that he doesn't lane that well against a lot of heroes. Like, he's really good against melees in particular.
Yeah.
But he has no armor. He gets destroyed by a lot of these safe laners.
Yep. So that means we are going to be going to the next ban phase. Who do you pick versus Bloodseeker? Bloodseeker is very good versus just everyone, right? You just want people to get low, and then you just right-click people, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any hero that just wants to sit there and stand still when they get ruptured? I mean, there's small things you can do, like Chen can send back whenever he gets ruptured.
That's nice.
Io can relocate you out.
Yep.
But
Yeah, I think in general, Yule's builders can work too.
Yeah.
Zeus is kind of a pseudo counter or soft counter in the sense that he can blow him up. So I like the Zeus. Yeah, Razor can work.
Razor's pretty good. Interesting that OpTic, this is their, again, the 4th game in a row we're seeing them. This is the 3rd time they first picked Bloodseeker. Now, against whoever they just, Team Leviathan, they didn't pick it. It ended up getting banned in the 2nd phase bans. But I'm curious on the logic there from PPD and why they chose to pass up against Leviathan. But
I think in a game like that, I think you're not worried. And you don't want to give something
away.
Honestly, I don't think you want to give stuff away. I think it was the same.
They felt very confident.
That is definitely a factor going into these games. They're best of ones, right?
I think it's, if you watch the SEA games, Fnatic last picked Eternal Envy of Jakiro, and that's just kind of a thing. Either maybe teams will ban it versus we get a free ban. Like, they're not actually going to play that versus good teams. I hope not.
So what I like about the Bloodseeker is that he's a carry that can play in all 3 lanes. And when you see Warlock, you know one lane is not a threat. Right, this one lane is just built to survive. It's not actually built to kill anyone, so they could put Bloodseeker +1 against the Warlock lane, and they'll probably crush it, honestly.
Yeah, it's true.
I like the bans, though, from Baidu King so far. Lash is definitely something that OpTic tend to run a lot, and Veno as well. And those are 2 heroes that kind of just run in the fight and force you to run away, and Bloodseeker loves kind of chaotic, spread-out fights like that. I mean, the Visage is also another one where you can kind of, without threat, just throw your birds in and force a hero to back while he's ruptured. And obviously that was banned in the 1st phase, but I think so far that Baidu King's actually done his homework here.
I like Clockwork here for the Clockwork Shadow Fiend combo. They could go that. Although that was their only loss today. So
speaking of doing your homework, if you didn't know, they have a coach as well. He used to be part of the Tongfu NA squad in 2015. He as well went back to China. Didn't really like the tier 2 Chinese scene. Came back here. Now he's coaching. Goes by just WAY Way.
For Team Baidu, you're talking about?
Yeah, he's their coach. He is a very WAY. Well, so you can spell way different ways. Okay. No, he's a very good coach. I talked to him. They do their homework. This is not just a stack thrown together to hope to go through this. They are a team.
These guys are a team.
Yes.
Play to win.
Undying.
Undying's another kind of hero that PPD I feel like he likes. I wouldn't be surprised if he plays at this game and you have Zion the Witch Doctor instead. But I've also become more and more sold on this hero in general. For the longest time, wasn't really maybe the strongest in the meta, but eventually when the dual aggressive lanes became very relevant is where he started to shine, right? He's good at that with the decay spam. And Tombstone's always going to be an annoying ability to fight up against, so I like it here.
I think, yeah, any hero that can, as you said, can just go to a dual lane and you're like, well, we're not really going to lose this. Like, you don't want to man fight an Undying. He takes your HP, he gains HP, he deals damage. That's a 3-fer.
And he smells, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's just, ugh.
He's got everything.
He's got everything. And
except a stun.
Except a stun. But Tombstone's like a stun, pretty much. You throw it and people move a lot. That's nothing like a stun.
It's like it's like Phoenix Egg, right? You sit there and you can't fight through it. You have to actually focus it down. Not many support heroes can actually do that.
And he has talents that boost it up. That's the thing. Phoenix and Undying, like the fact they have something like that and they just get talents on top of it just made him so
And then he has level
heroes.
20 talent where it's like, well, you kill him. He's like, all right, well, another Tombstone. There you go.
Yep. Sand King.
MRP, I know you wanted to say something. What was it?
Yeah, no, just to Brax's point earlier, how, it's kind of a stalemate lane with the Warlock in it. This Undying allows you to apply pressure with committing very little early on. And the other thing that you notice from the opening that I think PPD is kind of recognizing here is neither Warlock nor Doom want to be in the middle of the fight. Like, Doom can be in the middle of the fight and can build to be tanky, but he's got that base attack time that's like 2 seconds long. So he's not going to be hitting a Tombstone, right? And even this Sand King pick, although I definitely consider it a strong laner and something you can counter the Undying with, I think, through these 3 heroes thus far, you don't have any heroes who are really good at dealing with Tombstone.
It's true. Yep. And you need someone who can deal with Tombstone. It doesn't matter. Even if it's a core, it's better than Phoenix in that way. Like, Tombstone will die a little bit quicker than Phoenix. So you're okay committing a core to do that.
So would like a troll be good here then for Team Baidu to help address that?
I think Baidu's going to pick Lina next first off.
Well, that's a good one too. Yeah.
Especially because OpTic banned TA, which is Lina's worst thing. But I could see something like that as well. I don't know. Baidu King team does like running Lina, as I watched in open qualifiers.
Yeah,
I'm kind of feeling the range core as well. Maybe the Mirana or the Lina, just because they have such a good front line now.
Queen of Pain. Okay.
Death Prophet's a hero that we don't really see much right now, do we, in these qualifiers?
Weehaw was playing it in SA, but besides that, we haven't seen in like Europe, SCA, anything like that now. I'm interested because I think the middle matchup is probably the team's best 2 individually skilled players, CCNC and CG. Like, CG used to be garbage 2 years ago, I'll say it. And he is definitely, he has gotten way, way better. I think he's top 30 right now for sure. And he's a very good player, so I think that's going to be an interesting matchup.
You know, that's like the most appropriate way to shit on someone, right? You used to be garbage, but now you're great.
Now you're great. So I'm not actually like, if it was 2 years in the past, like if I'm Back to the Future, then I would. But okay, the BTY Classic.
Is this hero dumb? Does anyone else feel as, you know, I feel very terribly about Luna. I think she's broken right now, but
in what way?
It's just like you hit a certain point in the game where you lose one team fight and your base is gone.
True.
Yes, that's exactly
Luna does do that, yes.
Yep.
It's a risk of going up against a hero. Yeah, don't lose the fights then.
That's why Terribly was so good, right? It was the same thing with Terribly. You lose one fight, he will absolutely destroy your base in a little different way than Luna, but it was the same thing.
Yep. Luna gets to a point where she just farms everything on the map, gets Aegis, walks up to the high ground, and you can't do anything. If you walk in, you die, and you just sit there and watch your base die.
I think the thing is you definitely can bully this hero in lane. If you really want to, if it's dual lanes, it's harder to, but if you really want to do a tri-lane, I think you do it versus Luna because it forces them to do a tri-lane, and then you just pick 2 other good laners in your other lanes, and you might lose your tri-lane, but whatever.
Yeah, even though Luna is good at tri-lanes because of the Lunar Blessing or whatever.
She wants levels.
Exactly. You're delaying the levels, and she needs levels for the glaives, or else she doesn't actually farm fast.
So what mid hero? You mentioned Lena. Lena is still there.
And if I'm looking, I think Lena's the best because who else would you actually pick versus Queen of Pain?
Yeah.
And it's good versus Undying Tombstone because you already have those natural stacks doing a lot of attack speed.
It's someone to play with the Sand King, too. Yep. With the Sand King, Lena can actually kill any hero on the map.
Yeah. Natural Yules builder against a Bloodseeker. It seems to fit really well, and there's not too many great matchups. Like, Quap isn't the lane dominator she used to be, but there aren't too many great matchups, and Lena's one that definitely can fare pretty well.
I'm just thinking, anyone else, what do you do? You don't really necessarily, sorry, Breaky, you don't need, like, the lead, because, like, usually when you get Lena, you're like, oh, we're going to carry into the late game as well. With a Luna, that's the only late game you truly need on a team, but we'll see.
Yeah, I agree.
It's Lena. All right. I'm fine with it. I think it's the best pick.
It's a good call. Lena looks like the best hero in this situation.
Easily.
Honestly, she wins all these matchups. TA is, like, the hardest one, and TA is banned. There's also not that big of a threat of, like, any potential, like, roamers coming in mid. Witch Doctor comes in with a cast that flies at... It flies in slow motion, basically. Undying's not going to come mid. So, looks good.
So we need the... This could be... I think we're going to see the 33 hero here.
Yeah, kind of have to. And
is this...
It could be an offlane Bloodseeker, but I think it's going to be a... I think this will be 33.
It can actually be anything.
It can.
Yeah.
I think CCNC is going to play Quap. So...
Yeah, probably.
Besides that. I don't know. What about an... Is Underlord that bad in this game? You get a Crimson Guard versus all these heroes. 33 just tanks up front. I don't think it's great, but if you do pick an offlaner.
I'm really confused because I don't know what hero it's going to be.
Shadow Demon.
Yeah.
Shadow
3-3 has played Shadow Demon before, and it is decent here.
Counters Luna?
Yeah.
True.
Do you think that it's set in stone that the Bloodseeker safe lane, though? I feel like they could still flex to, like, a Morphling.
They could.
Here.
I think it's just PyCap playing the Bloodseeker. That's my, like, personal thoughts on it. But it definitely could. I know 33 is one of the most, like, he plays every hero kind of guy.
Yep.
He's that guy for OpTic.
Oh.
They're using all their time. Hey, if you have the time, use it. Yeah. I would. The last time when I had too much time on my hands, I just wanted to, that's a good song.
Okay.
Who sings that? I've got too much time on my hands. No, all right. It's an older song.
I need you to keep singing it.
All right. That's all I got. Kunkka.
Wow.
Wait, is it not CC's song? Am I a dumbass? Oh, no. Oh, no. I like it. They switch it up, right? Versus a team you're expected to beat. I think it's definitely good to do something like this.
This is the benefit of keeping your lineup so flexible with players that can actually...
The Doom, by the way.
Ooh, the hand.
The Doom does have the Immortal, the new Immortal, so we will get to see it in action.
That's why they picked it.
Baidu King himself. Yeah, these cores are obviously diverse cores, and they took advantage of that. That's what you're talking about there, Grant. This is... none of us saw that coming, and I guarantee you Team Baidu did not either. So
probably not. I think, how is Kunkka versus Lena? Sorry, last thing I want to say is that, how is it, like Kunkka still it does decently, right? You get easy denies, but you get harassed a lot.
You do get harassed a lot, but you can get a whole lot of denies with the Tidebringer denying your creeps. It's one of these heroes that actually, it's really hard to lane Kunkka because he sets up ganks.
Yeah.
Right. If you ever get X'd into any hero walking mid, you can very easily kill him. I don't think it's the greatest matchup in the world against Lena, but. You know, it's just, I think he's a solid hero overall.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree. So,
Nice big fat HP pool too. So like the harass from Dragon Slave isn't as bad as it is against certain other heroes.
Yep.
So I guess me and Break are going. I really like Baidu King. I like them all as players, people, but I just got to go with OpTic. I think they are the better team, and it's going to be so hard.
I mean,
yeah, those odds. Also, you should go in offline mode.
Oh, okay, that's a good point.
That's a little extreme, man.
And
I mean, that's almost unfair to Baidu right there. Like their draft definitely has capabilities. They're running an Immortal to Doom, so they got that benefit going for them.
I think they will put up a bigger fight for sure than Leviathan.
Oh yeah, I'm very confident with that. If anything, the draft alone, definitely. I would still predict OpTic to win, but those odds definitely don't feel like they should be there. But
well, we'll keep you company during the pause at least, and then we'll get out of your way. Brax.
Hi, Grant.
How'd the camera work feel? Does it feel okay?
Nice and smooth.
And smooth. That's how we like
going to nowhere. But
we're going out of here.
We're practicing so we don't miss any kills.
The Peter classic admin.
Why are we paused, admin?
We've all been in lobbies with Peter and Kyle. Who do you think's more insufferable in the lobby?
PPD.
Oh, that was fast.
Yeah. That's a toss-up.
I would.
That's a
I mean, both are definitely vocal and not afraid to give their opinions. But I just feel like throughout history, PPD's maybe been a little over the top sometimes. Like cases like this, for example. Right away, just admin like. They said that they're going to the restroom, clearly. I mean, I understand OpTic's playing 5 games in a row right here.
But he's joking, too.
Yeah, at the same time, he is too. You're not wrong there. Is he fully joking, though? It's part of that, like, yes, maybe he's playing it up a little bit, but...
It's kind of like there's truth in some lies, right? Yeah. When you're kind of making fun of something.
Yeah.
What are you looking for here?
I'm trying to make it... You know how when you, like, move to a different part of the map, you know how it like moves instantly instead of like slowly dragging? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh,
like
you don't
transition?
have it clicks somewhere. Does it? Yeah, there it's good.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
That's what I do.
I thought there was a setting to make it look better.
I mean, it looked fine to me.
I think you're doing a great job already.
Oh, you said you wanted to pan to it, or you want it?
He wants you. You want to.
You want to pan to it, or you?
Well, I have no clue. See you later, Brax.
Bye.
You'll do great, Brax. I know you will. MRP, take it away.
All right, hopping into this one, Brax. Thank you for joining me through this journey. And obviously, we're seeing, some of the fruits of this versatile lineup that PPD has at his disposal here with the last pick, Kunkka, flexing that in, 33 being, one of the more versatile 3 positions in Pro Dota right now. So definitely slated to be the favorites. Anything else you're expecting early on that's kind of unorthodox in these lanes?
I just want to see how these lane matches work out because it looks like OpTic, they want to play against this Warlock, right? Warlock, he plays the long game, the sustain game, but... with Undying and Witch Doctor in front of him, he could just die from full HP. And also, it's going to give Bloodseeker basically a free lane because there shouldn't be very much aggression coming out from him. I like this a lot.
And it looks like for now, they're going to be in this sort of tri-lane configuration from the Radiant side. But there is a Windlace up on the Sand King, so perhaps they could move him to that aggressive dual lane alongside the Doom. For now, it'll just be a little bit of jockeying for position around the bounty runes, but it looks like we'll be standard 2 apiece to each side. Zai does get a 2-man decay off, and we'll cop a little bit of harass. And as he makes it back to his lane, it's going to be blocked up by 33, who is postured aggressively on the Bloodseeker in the offlane, and Pycat, the solo Queen of Pain, up top.
So let's talk about these lanes real quick. We have Kunkka, Lina, mid. It looks like a strictly 1v1 matchup. Nobody can really come in and mess with anything for quite some time. Queen of Pain against Doom. Queen of Pain, obvious advantage in this lane. Ranger against melee with no armor. And this tri-lane, though. This is where all the action is.
Yeah.
Like, there's almost no kill potential from the side of Baidu. Like, they're just going to get decayed over and over.
Yeah. And there's, sustain to match theirs on the OpTic side as well with both Voodoo Restoration and potentially the Soul Rip to come out. We see Peter favor the Soul Rip a lot. We'll see if Zai goes that way or if opts for the Tombstone. He gets a 2-man decay off. He's going to keep himself up. They bait in Orange a little. He's going to have to salve in Vision, but gets right-clicked by Peter. And he's likely just going to create a little space for his squad here as he makes his way up to the north. But Thirst is already skilled for 33 as he held his skill point, and it'll give him the vision to bring down the first blood.
Very interesting that Bloodseeker actually has Thirst at level 1. But it makes sense, right? They're trading a lot of hits. Decay spams are going out. They're just clicking each other down while healing up. Pretty interesting.
Yeah. And off to a pretty good start is Baidu King up top against the Queen of Pain. You mentioned kind of the advantage that Pycat's going to have here, but a couple of CS in the first wave for the Doom. He did go for that early point in Devour as well. Speaking of unorthodox skill build, CCNC a little bit low mid lane, but does have the salve on his person, and is doing very well CS-wise against his counterpart, 7-2 to the 4-2.
Sorry, I'm just watching this bottom lane because it's there's always action here. Like, I don't think there's, look at that. There's so much damage coming out from the Undying. There's no way at all that Baidu can fight this. But how do they rotate away, right? Like, where does Sand go? Is he going to go mid? It's pretty unrealistic for him to actually be able to gank mid reliably, right? Without boosts. Like, even from the smoke, it's just not going to happen. And then if Sand goes top, they actually don't do anything to Queen of Pain too. So, OpTic, I mean, I don't see how they break this lane configuration from OpTic at all.
Yeah, even if they have a value point in the X for CCNC, it does feel like CG with all that attack range can kind of keep him at bay or keep distance away. So it does seem very hard for Orange to kind of make an impact elsewhere. And right now, the bottom lane is bona fide disaster, I want to say, early on. Luna has managed to scrape by with 7 CS, but continually just be pressured forward here. 12 strength missing off this Luna, and not exactly the beefiest hero early on to begin with. They will get some efficiency value out of the Shadow Word, but she is just completely off the wave as 33 has a field day on top of the creeps.
It just looks like this is everything Luna hates in the lane phase, right? She can't touch creeps. She has lots of heroes leeching her experience, and there's just the threat of dying all the time. Bloodseeker is just running around with plus 22 damage thanks to the Thirst the entire lane phase because people are low. Like, mid lane's low because there's 1v1 matchups. Other heroes are low too.
Peter does get burrowed up, and they're attempting the body blocks here. He heads over to the left to try and avoid the Lucent Beam. And again, even if he dies here, it's going to be so much time spent off this lane. Already, we see 33 under the tower. Going to put a little bit of pressure there, and Peter going to maybe go for the neutral deny. He'll continue to kind of make space here.
There's no stun for a long time.
Yeah, the clarity's going to be popped. He's going to turn and cancel it. Peter, very well aware of the resources available to this Orange Sand King.
He even has a TP
around the rosy.
He's just wasting his time for as long as possible.
That is some cheeky plays from the Herald of NA. And yeah, Peter still looking for the courier. They're gonna pop the shield. And meanwhile, back in the lane, it's a Luna Warlock trying to stand tall up against this Bloodseeker Undying duo, and never gonna be easy. Zai with 12 strength in his pocket is going to continue to press forward, but looks like they're just content to keep dominating this lane. 14 denies on the Bloodseeker thus far, and Peter still wasting the time of the Sand King, who does have the burrow, doesn't want to use it just yet until he's in kill range, and will now.
You know, that's pretty smart of Peter. Like, a lot of players would TP back to base, because he could live there if he wanted to, but if he TPs back to base, that means he can't TP back to lane, and he doesn't mind giving that Sand King that kill, because that's more time that Luna's just alone against these two heroes. And now, look at this, he's just back.
They go for the kill on Luna with the Blood Rage, so almost getting there, but the Shadow Word going to keep him in fighting shape for now, BTY. Still, though, level 3 on this Luna 5 minutes in is rather large concern. If they rotate out of any of these other lanes with the Queen of Pain or the Kunkka, feels like she's a pretty easy kill. Speaking of the other lanes, CCNC with an Arcane Rune mid, holding his own in this mid lane. He's actually overtaken the Lina as far as CS goes. Doing very well. And the Queen of Pain for Pycat, similarly so, is trading well up against the Doom.
Yep, so the one big window Baidu are going to have is that Doom's going to hit 6, right? And once Doom's 6, they do have kill potential on the Queen of Pain. But, all right, Orange is smoked up mid, but he's level 2 Sand King against the full HP Kunkka.
Oh, the Luna bottom in trouble as well. The cask flies out. Bloodright is there. She's getting real low. 33 finishes off the Luna. And now the Warlock, as you mentioned, just passively walking away. And the gank attempt on mid has not yet been initiated. And CCNC, he throws out the Torrent for vision. Doesn't catch anyone on the south side of the cliff, and now in a little bit of trouble, but 1,000 HP to this Kunkka is going to be a difficult kill. They'll use the Laguna Blade. He throws out the boat, gets the ROM applied. He's still alive.
He's got 1 HP.
And makes it back to base. Disaster in the early game for Baidu King squad as OpTic going to grab a kill and save their mid laner as well.
I can't believe he lived. Like, they're so desperate to make a play, and they get so close, but it just doesn't happen.
Yeah, super unfortunate turn of events for them there. And the Luna being out of lane, coming back now still. Level 3.5, the Undying level 4. 33 looking to eclipse that level 5 mark. And up top, movement from Orange and from PPD. Baidu King's already forced to use the Scorched Earth here. It is level 6 Pycat, but they're not going to look to progress too far forward. Yeah, 33. Looking for the kill and gets it. And the Warlock, again, just has no turn potential on this duo. And they've been able to send Peter up top and secure Pycat as he's kind of shadowed the movements of Orange for the last little bit on the Witch Doctor. Very secure in the fact that 2v2 bottom lane, they're going to do well.
Yep, the only way Queen of Pain dies up here is if she's solo. So Witch Doctor, noticing that, you know, this is the only actual play they can make. This is also the play they want to make because it's the easiest one they can do, but he just blocks it entirely. Bloodseeker's completely independent now, and he can just dominate this bottom lane almost alone.
Yeah, he's going to throw out a Blood Right. It'll connect onto the Warlock. It'll put a few right clicks in, but as Luna shows her face, he'll keep himself safe. Salving up in the mid lane, CCNC throws out the Torrent. He is going to connect onto Orange. It is only a level 1 Torrent, however, so not too much damage. And the double damage will expire. But for now, as you mentioned, you know, that big kind of early timing where they can at least get a little bit out of this early game is that Doom level 6. And, you know, with the movements of PPD up to the top lane, they've been yet to put it to work.
Yep, and I feel like it's only a matter of time before Queen of Pain wants to make a rotation down to bottom lane. Like maybe when Bloodseeker gets level 6, that's when things get really dangerous for Baidu. Because eventually you expect this hero to move, right? There's going to be some point where you just don't want to stand in front of this Doom that can cast a Doom.
He looked like he queued it up there for a moment, just fake casting on PPD. And Baidu King looked to drag the wave back, as he's been doing. Mid lane, TP's in from the Zai Undying as Orange looks to make an aggressive move. Oh, the Soul Rip and Decay almost puts him into fatal range there. He'll salve up to avoid giving 33 too much strength and make it back to safety. But all things considered, early game going really well. 2K net worth lead amassed here at about 9 minutes. And the CS perhaps even more concerning overall with the Luna sitting at 26 here, 9 minutes in.
Yep, and this is going to be a growing problem for the side of Baidu because it just gets worse and worse when the ultimates come out on the side of OpTic, right? Like, I like the Kunkka with the Bloodseeker. You have, like, the Blood Rage Cleave combo. A lot of potential there. And it's also a hero that's always constantly harassing the hero in front of him, so you're going to guarantee you have some damage from Thirst to work with.
33 looking at a Blade Mail queued up for the time being, kind of answer maybe the one desperate play they have with the Luna Eclipse once that comes out. But so far, Luna still sitting on level 4. Pycat just AFK for the first 9.5 minutes up top. And does have the null tally, should have his next item pretty soon. Cast gonna fly out. Baidu King will get hit a couple of times. The third time it'll fly through. He'll be forced to pop Scorched Earth, but they're not gonna overcommit for this one as PPD yet to eclipse that all-important level 6 milestone. Zai stalking the Luna at least. Kind of creepy, just at least soaking some experience here. But OpTic seem pretty content to just let their cores farm away. Mid lane though, Orange in trouble. X into the boat, and no target for the Tidebringer there for CCNC. And he's unable to finish it off, but he will force the TP out from the Sand King, and he'll find himself conveniently an Arcane Rune on the bottom side of the map.
Yep, unfortunately couldn't find a target to use Tidebringer on, but everything is fine, right? Everything is going fantastic for OpTic. The one thing that Baidu have to play around is Doom. Doom is extremely farmed.
Second overall in the game, just behind the 33 Bloodseeker, who's had a fantastic time, kills and CS-wise. And they may even get some structures here 10.5 minutes in. Looks like this tier 1 going to be conceded by Baidu King's side. And they do have a smoke on the Sand King. Looks like they're going to convene. And this is the combination that you were talking about in the draft, Brax, is that SK Lina. And we'll see if they can find an all-important core kill top lane. But it looks like Pycat's already vacated this area, and they're only looking at PPD.
Yep, this is terrible. They definitely wanted to be able to catch Pycat, but you're at the stage of the game where you'll take anything you can get, right? They need to make something happen.
And Peter does get burrowed through the trees. LSA will be there, and they will net this kill on the Witch. Oh, he sticks up, gets the cask off.
Oh, no.
For now, he's still surviving. And tier 2 being pressured. He salves up. Voodoo Restoration is there as well. And Peter has been an astronaut this game. Just surrounded in the space that he's
True
created.
spaceman.
They will get the tier 1, so all is not lost. Their rotation is not for nothing here. But again, they're losing tier 2 bottom, continuing to be juked out here. They will end up finally bringing down that Witch Doctor. But CCNC and 33, they're more than happy to trade their loyal captain for this tier 2 bottom.
They spent so much time chasing him that they just took the tier 2 from full HP. That's ridiculous.
Laguna will fly out mid and kill off Zai. CG does look to kind of equate the net worth of PyCat with that kill. And it looks like they'll fend off the pressure from their mid tower, but already losing both outer tier towers, bottom lane. Definitely feels like OpTic can look to just occupy this southern part of the map.
Man, they must feel so pressured because like half the map is not safe, right? They can't enter their jungle at all. They know mid lane's going to be the next target for OpTic's movements just because of how much control they have over the jungle with these deep wards coming out. And they're just not ready to fight. Like Warlock's level, he's about to hit 5. Sand King's level 4 with just Tranquil Boots. Luna doesn't want to see a hero. I mean, look at her skill build. She has 1 Lucent Beam, max Moonglaves in full farm mode. Nobody could fight at all.
And now Doom does fly out onto CCNC. LSA will actually connect onto 2. Inferno Blade is there. Cask going to keep Baidu King back. And the Death Ward doing some work as well. CCNC does end up dropping. They'll get the return kill on the Doom. Upheaval from the west side is going to be canceled here. Or at least he'll be aggressed on. And they get the kill on the Warlock. And the Scream finds a kill to the south side on the Lina as well.
Oh man, it just gets worse and worse. Lina killed herself on the Blade Mill in that fight trying to finish off Bloodseeker. Like, I don't know. It just gets worse and worse.
It just makes himself look like a juicy target with that Blood Rage. And pops that Blade Mail at the last second. As you mentioned, they don't even have the power of the Eclipse as Luna has entirely retreated to, what is, the safest area perhaps on the map is this kind of quadrant. And she's going to be trying to farm away and claw her way back in and has kind of, tied up with the net worth of her teammates, but still OpTic are applying tons of pressure. They are going to take that mid lane tier 1. So the triangle of towers they've taken in the bottom side of the map is going to afford them a lot of map control. Really all they need is this tier 1 in the off lane to have full control of this Roche area as well.
Yep, but Baidu are doing some good things. Warlock solo smokes out to place an Observer Ward on top of OpTic's Shrine. And once he's level 6, maybe they can fight. Like, it'll certainly be better than the last fight.
He is being pursued here. 33 with the Rupture at the ready. We'll make it behind the tower. Rupture is there. Nice ward placement as well. He's going to look for the TP out. Cask will put a stop to that. And the Warlock is going to drop monster kill streak for 33. 8-0-2 on the Bloodseeker. And from moment 1, he's had a field day in this one.
Yep, just completely unstoppable.
And there it is, right for the tier 1.
At least they have some tools that can potentially deal with Bloodseeker, right? Like he can get Doom, so he can't get Blade Mail or Rupture off. No matter what items he gets, they'll always have the Doom. Of course, that's assuming he can actually cast Doom on Bloodseeker.
Assuming he's running at a relatively normal movement speed.
Yeah.
And smoke up. 4 members of OpTic as 33 continues to push the lane in. They'll TP down. CCNC's looking to catch a straggler bottom lane, and they won't give an inch to this Baidu King squad, who are looking to at least take a tier 1 here in the bottom lane.
This is pretty interesting from OpTic. They move so many heroes bottom when there's no clear objective, but it's just so they can push back Baidu King, or Baidu, from being able to farm that position on the map. Like, look at their wards, right? They have all the wards from OpTic are on the side of Baidu's jungle. They're just trying to prevent them from farming any sort of safe farm on their map. So yeah, they're just trying to keep up the pressure over and over because they do know Luna's farming, right? They haven't seen Luna for quite some time.
Yeah, Lina working on the Yules and isn't too far off that, about 500 gold away as well. So they can kind of look to set up, have a little bit of a tool up against the Bloodseeker defensively as well. And it looks like they will smoke here. Baidu King drums ready, and they do have the Tranquils for the extra MS on the SK. So pretty good range of initiation with these 3 heroes.
I'm pretty sure this smoke was scouted. They had an Observer Ward up by the Ancients.
True. And it looks like OpTic playing pretty safe, showing only PPD in the lane, so it must be the case.
He's the spaceman, as you said. They don't want him. They want something bigger.
Yeah, he's been doing an excellent job tanking the ganks and wasting the time of the enemy thus far. But the Luna's recovered decently. She's got the Mask of Madness, Blade of Alacrity on top of the treads, Aquila.
That's true.
And looking to nip at the heels of Pycat, who, you know, not the greatest farming hero and hasn't been doing too much fighting on the Queen of Pain as much as you'd expect. 1-0-3, still not an entirely docile stat line, but up on the high ground, the Warlock going to scout out the movement of OpTic. Now the drum's going to be popped, though. And Zai going to hold the Tombstone for now, but the X is there from CCNC. And he'll actually whiff the combo, unfortunately. But with the Blood Rage, they may just be able to kill him off regardless. Needs one more right click. CCNC didn't have the phase boots ready. And he's going to get chat wheeled for it. Meanwhile, though, on the east side, Luna being pursued. Bloodright going to give them the vision. Decay will be there to go for the TP out. Pycat, nothing to cancel it. And a heads-up play. Going to get the Luna to safety. Now CCNC yules into the LSA and the Laguna Blade. Infernal Blade will be there to finish the job. And just a little bit of, I guess, you know, miscoordination from OpTic as they made the move east. CCNC didn't vacate that mid lane quickly enough, and he's punished for it.
Yep, and Baidu capitalizing with the yules picked up on Lina. They managed to get the catch. You know, this game's not that bad, honestly. Like, Baidu have stabilized. The early game was atrocious, but now that the lane phase has been broken down, Luna's still farming, Leon's getting her farm, Doom has been farmed the entire game, and he's still pretty decently farmed. Like, he's about to pick up a Shadow Blade pretty soon. This game is not impossible at all for Baidu. Like, they have the tools to fight, too. Warlock almost has boots. Well, not really, but he'll get there after one team fight if he stays alive.
Yeah, no doubt you wanted to see OpTic kind of chasing further and snowballing in this one for kills. And on paper, certainly the team fight looks better for the Radiant. And rather fortunate for them for that the one core who was farmed in the early game is the one who's bad at farming in general. So the Lina and the Luna, easy for them to kind of recover with the nukes and the Moonglaves, and Doom being farmed from early on. I definitely agree with you that, you know, we haven't yet to see a Rock and an Eclipse here, so they can fight. 33 going to go for the Rupture on the Doom. He's going to pop the Scorch Earth and back simultaneously. Meanwhile, on the north side, Pycat looking to work on the Warlock with the Decay there. Looks like they should get this Warlock. Torrent does not connect. Cask will, but it's not enough. Oh, it does finish him off there. Pycat's Shadow Strike damage over time will get the kill. No wave inbound, though, on this tier 2, so it looks like just a kill for the sake of the kill for now, but Ward Vision to the north side is going to scout the Luna. She's going to go for the TP out once again, and Peter not in range to cancel it.
There's a severe lack of TP canceling on the side of OpTic. You have Cask and X. And these heroes that can actually get in range to find Luna, they can't do it, and she's still farming. Like, she hasn't died in a long time.
Working on the Shadow Blade is CCNC, so perhaps that'll solve some of those problems, but he's still a little ways away from that. 1,200 gold. CCNC, though, pops the drums. Phase Boots ready as well. Luna just so fast as a hero in general, though, and unable to connect. Meanwhile, X is going to find the Sand King, but he burrows, and he will pull him back into the boat. He's silenced up as well. Doom is going to be there onto the Bloodseeker, but he got the BKB off in time and still looking to chase down Baidu King. CG scattering to the north as well on the Lina, and trying to dodge around is the Bloodseeker, but he gets caught with the burrow. Laguna Blade will finish him. Epi is going to continue to push back OpTic, and there's no counterplay elsewhere on the map as Pycat was just hitting neutrals. And so a nice kill going to be found here for the Radiant, and definite signs of life for them in the last 5 minutes or so.
That single kill was a 1,500 gold swing. Like, being able to fight and take team fights when you're down this much gold is so meaningful. Like, now Luna actually has space to keep on farming and get to a BKB. Like, when she has BKB, she can just stand her ground if she gets ruptured, or even just BKB TP. Like, it's not that big of a threat because there's not that much physical damage on top of it. And this doesn't look that bad for Baidu. And as you said, Shadow Blade on Doom, they've got some catch too. Warlock, I think he just picked up his boots. He did. He's a happy man. Things are looking up.
Maybe the one silver lining for OpTic here is that they know Baidu is rather cooldown dependent, and they did use Doom, Eclipse, and the Rock in that fight. So perhaps a small window for them to make a move either into the pit or to look for a fight. Warlock doing a little bit of dewarding. Cask will fly, connects onto both heroes. Tombstone is there as well as the Blood, and it looks like they'll only concede the Warlock, not willing to fight here as the aforementioned cooldowns off the table. But this will likely mean Roshan for OpTic.
Yep, Roche is a pretty big deal, but you kind of have to expect it, right, when you're playing with such a large cooldown-dependent lineup. Like, once Rock is down, you have no hopes of fighting. Same thing with Eclipse, and Aegis is just something they're going to have to deal with. Ideally, Luna would like to have a BKB before they start knocking on the high ground, but this first Aegis, I don't think it's enough for OpTic to actually go high ground. Like, this is usually the Aegis where you take the outer towers, and then the next one is where you try to approach high ground, and by then, Luna's definitely going to have BKB. Like, this Luna has played extremely well, just dodging everything, ignoring everything, going for the right skill build to try to catch back up into the game. So I like their chances in this game. I mean, it was a 5,000 gold lead at like 9 minutes. Now it's at 4,000 at 22. Getting much better.
Definitely admirable. So thus far, pretty impressive from Baidu. PyCat, though, speaking of admirals, has done a really good job keeping up in farm alongside the Luna. He hasn't been able to kind of enter too many fights. He's been involved in 6 of the 13 kills. So about half of what his team's been able to net as far as casualties go. And does have the Lincolns and sitting atop the net worth alongside 33. So still kind of keeping up, but we've yet to see his net worth really bear fruit in a fight just yet.
I'm curious to see how CCNC is going to transition this game. Like, he's 0-2 and 0, not the greatest score. But, you know, how much farm priority is he going to get on his Kunkka this game? Because there are a lot of things that can actually catch him, like the Doom's looking for him. They see the X, but... Oh, they're paying it out.
Yeah. LSA is there. Perfectly timed from CG. Infernal Blade is there as well, but CCNC's pretty tanky. One more right click. It actually does finish the job. Instant TP out from the Doom. Again, the lack of TP cancel rearing its ugly head, but they do get the Lina with the Blood Rage. So the return kill is there. And the two heroes worth about the same. But it is a little bit of time that delays OpTic from pushing with the Aegis in their hands.
Yeah, and that's totally fine. A 1-for-1 with so many forced TPs when you're already down in the game is exactly what you want.
Warlock in a little bit of trouble, placing down a sentry. Is going to pop up the heal, but likely to take a spill here as PyCat gets his second scream off. Well, won't need it. Again, though, dragging OpTic around the map, continuing to farm on the cores. Looks like they'll be okay. You know, not elated, but okay with the last few kind of happenstances. And now Orange going to find Peter warding deep. Infernal Blade is there as well. And again, Peter looking to create some space, but this time the Luna will join them and they'll ping out the cliff as well, knowing that there's really few other reasons that the Witch Doctor would be that deep behind enemy lines.
Yep. I'm actually very worried for OpTic. Like, they had a large lead and they haven't been able to keep up the pressure. Right? Like, yep, PyCat is farmed. 33 is very farmed. But Luna's starting to accelerate, and now she has BKB. When she gets that next item, like the Butterfly, or maybe I have Scotty, something to tank up through the damage so she doesn't die right away, I'm a Baidu fan.
Orange jumps forward, finds the dust on CCNC. Doom is there as well. Zai looks to try and turn it, but without the Kunkka's boat, they're really just not all that tanky. They're going to work on the Tombstone now. And meanwhile, on the north side, the Lina kind of enters the fight a little bit too early. She's going to catch a Sonic Wave for it. The Rock's going to be a little bit late to save her. But it looks like overall, Baidu should have a good fight out of this one. Peter on the east side is going to try and take out the Warlock with the Maledict and the Death Ward. 33 should be able to finish the job here. But overall, 2 for 2. And now Burrow onto the Blood Rage 33. He gets the BKB off, pops the Rupture, looking to fight into the SK, and he should get this kill as well with PyCat rejoining the fray. So OpTic do a good job to turn this one in the end. Baidu King just TPs out, and he will be successful. He'll take out the Warlock Golem and likely net this tier 2 as well. And if it weren't for CG kind of initiated brazenly there, that looks real good for Baidu.
Yeah, I thought it could have been slightly better, but Luna, the way she played that fight, you can tell she doesn't really want to fight, right? Like at the end, she maybe could have fought with the Doom at the end, but just runs right away, goes right back to pushing out these lanes, but CCNC going to scout her out.
The early death on the Kunkka allows him to get down to the lane, but BKB charge going to be used. It is the 10-second one, so rather unfortunate for the Luna, but certainly worth surviving and getting a little information for the team.
Yeah, like CCNC is not really keeping up in terms of farm and team fights. He is dying. It is Kunkka though, so you still have a lot of utility. You have the catch with the X, of course, and the team fight capabilities with the boat. And Warlock's dead.
It's like you said though, Brax. I mean, they have few answers for this Luna now that her BKB is up. And it looks like maybe knowing that the BKB was used in that bottom lane, that they have that 70 or so second window, that OpTic really trying to force something, but only able to get a Warlock out of it. And like you mentioned earlier, just not too many objectives, easy objectives at least, left on the map for OpTic. So they'll look at that last low-hanging fruit in the mid-tier 2, but it only gets harder from there.
Yep, it's very true. I like the itemization coming out from PyCat. He has the, he's gone for more of a carry style build, right? Usually we see Gluna Pains with like Orchids, sometimes you have Yules, Veil, but playing primarily as a right clicker and then transitioning into a Hex, you actually have some way to deal with this Luna. You can blink Hex and then take the fight that way. It looks pretty good. And I think it's going to be something that's unexpected, right? Luna's not going to be thinking that she needs a Lincoln Sphere. Actually, she has Lincoln Sphere in her quick buy, but it's going to probably come after the Manta. But I don't know, this game it's so odd because OpTic had such a hold over this game, but they could never find Luna. They never addressed this Luna problem, just farming the jungle the entire game.
Yeah. I think you put it perfectly earlier on. They really just did a great job of stabilizing through the first 15 minutes in the game. The lead for OpTic never exceeded 6K as far as net worth goes, so they just did a really good job of kind of identifying their weaknesses and creating some space. Cask is going to fly out onto the Sand King, but they get the Doom after the burrow down onto the Bloodseeker, and 33 going to die. He's going to immediately buy back and look to take this fight. Peter going to find himself a little bit of a nook in the corner, but he's not going to survive for much longer. CCNC gets burrowed up. Now the X going to bring back Zai, or bring back the Doom, excuse me, in front of Zai. But Baidu once again with the heads up TP out. And the counter to OpTic this game seems to be that TP scroll.
They just all lived, and OpTic Gaming used 2 buybacks. Jesus.
This is a rather concerning window.
If OpTic know that B2I doesn't have a TP available, they could actually like start threatening the map even more. Like Luna is in the enemy jungle just farming with her TP on cooldown for 50 seconds. But of course, OpTic, they don't know that, right? But if they had some information, like maybe she walks by a ward or something, they could potentially threaten high ground.
Perhaps anticipating the return of Roche here. Minimum respawn would be a minute from now, but still, those buybacks seem rather pointless for OpTic here. Got a scan available. PyCat goes for the Scream and actually catches a glimpse of the Luna.
Ooh.
She will hide herself in the trees momentarily. Has the BKB available. 20 seconds. They use the scan, and it's going to be flying wayward of the Luna. So for now, she will be safe in the trees.
God, if you give this game another, 10, 15 minutes, Luna is going to be the net worth leader here. I guess, Roshan is going to be the next big objective for OpTic Gaming. They've taken all the outer towers. They can't really approach the high ground without the help of the Aegis. But, there's a chance that Baidu might be strong enough to actually contest them in the Roshan pit. It is Warlock in the Roshan pit with Sand King and Luna, right? You have a ton of AoE damage. And that's
they
also,
have incredible team fight around the Roche pit.
Yeah, and that's even on top of Fatal Bonds, so that could be quite disastrous.
Peter looks to make an aggressive move at the Warlock as he executes his dewarding mission. And again, him and CCNC unable to close the gap and find an initiation, unfortunately for them. But we'll look to perhaps secure these 30-minute bounty runes at least. Luna is back towards her base with her squad.
Oh, MRP. This game is...
yeah, this Kunkka pick maybe just a bit unforgiving for OpTic in that last slot. Like you said, they're just very kind of reliant on taking that early advantage and snowballing. And just a little bit of good decision-making, a few headsy TP outs, and all of a sudden Baidu really in a, not commanding position, but have a good foothold in this game for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely not commanding, but it's also like they have a good chance. They're not out of this game at all. It seemed bad in the beginning, but they bounced right back. It is a 7K goal lead at 31 minutes, but at 31 minutes, that's not very significant, to be honest, especially when you're playing with lineups that have such big team fight capabilities. At this stage of the game, it's all just about who gets to jump first, and one team has Blink Sand King, the other team has Cask and X, right? It's very telegraphed, it's very slow, it's not that instant initiation.
Yeah, they had, the Kunkka combo to some point, but now with the Luna BKB, it's going to be very difficult. They got Crimson Guard as well on Baidu King's Doom, so a lot of damage mitigation for his side. Of course, the Cleave is going to kind of ignore that to some extent, but in the mid lane. Zai looking to set up his smoke pops. They get the X off onto the Sand King. He gets a double burrow off, and they get the Doom onto the BS as well. He will pop the BKB. Meanwhile, Sand King going down in the backline. It's a Sonic Wave, though, from PyCat through 3. They get 2 down. Instant double buyback from Baidu. They're going to look to continue this fight. Running around the Bloodseeker. Gets soul ripped up from Zai. He still survives, but now does end up going down. And Epicenter being channeled over on the east is going to find CCNC. They will get the 2 main cores down of OpTic. PyCat, though, still fighting strong, has the AoE Shadow Strike, and can continue to press forward. Orange in a little bit of trouble. There is a sentry here, and PyCat blinking to the north, doing the right clicks with the Mjolnir, is going to look to finally give OpTic the advantage they need. Baidu, recall, spending 2 buybacks here, really committing into this fight, and they weren't able to join the fray again quickly enough. Scream gonna find the Doom through Invis. 4 heroes down for Baidu, and can't really take Roche. Not really healthy enough to look to push high ground just yet, as the Lena's up in 8 seconds, but a big kind of sigh of relief for OpTic in that team fight, garnering 2 buybacks.
Yeah, and this is going to line up perfectly for them because now Warlock Ultimate's on cooldown, Eclipse is also on cooldown. They pretty much just operate off these short cooldown abilities, longest one being Sonic Wave, but they don't actually really need it to fight. So Roshan is theirs whenever they want it, basically.
And a big jump towards the Hex for PyCat. So, you know, we're talking about the effectiveness of this BKB, and it's actually just fully completed up here at the side shop. If he can blink and get the Hex off onto Luna, or even Lena for that matter, in these fights, could spell disaster for the Radiant side.
Yep, you know, that team fight, it looked like it was going to go a bit better for Baidu, but it's so weird to watch this Bloodseeker. Like, he gets doomed, he doesn't get his abilities off, but it doesn't even matter, because he's still running around the fight at like 800 move speed and a ton of damage.
The old Doom that used to break passives.
Yep.
What they would do for that now. Yeah. Sai gonna walk up to the high ground, catch a Lucent Beam. He's gonna be Yule's up as well. LSA is on cooldown though, so he'll be just fine, and they'll throw the boat out as well. Meanwhile, blinking into the pit is the SK, and yeah, he does end up snagging that cheese.
Okay, so that's not the worst thing in the world. Nothing big committed at all, and Orange on the Sand King manages to snag the cheese. Not too shabby.
But as he indicates with the chat wheel, he's gonna have to take a short nap here for the next 25 seconds or so.
He'll be back soon.
In hand. And yeah, it looks like they're able to clean up the wave mid as well for the Radiant side. Luna is pressuring the tier 2 top. We'll throw out the Manta Illusions and look to TP away. Zai, of course, as we've seen many times, unable to cancel. Well, he does actually have a Yule's these days, but Luna does have the Lincolns queued up, so still going to be kind of difficult. In any case, she'll bring down the tier 2 rather low, and OpTic will secure pretty much only the Aegis off of the back of that one team fight in mid.
Yep. Now this is the big hurdle for Baidu, right? If they can actually manage to survive this threat of the Aegis from OpTic Gaming, then this game goes on a bit longer. But there's a good chance that OpTic they're going to try to look for that next team fight with the Hex on Queen of Pain, right? They're going to try to jump some key hero, get a pick off, and approach the high ground. But if they can somehow not die and dodge long enough, then perhaps they have a good chance of coming back. But
just look at this litany of sentries, Brax. The entire Radiant side of the map is covered in sentries right now. The Dire, despite having Aegis, actually don't have that great vision. And that's continuing to try the warding mission, the Warlock does end up perishing. But in any case, it looks like they are pretty well set up to kind of at least survive. Meanwhile, Baidu, though, looking to do more than that. Top lane, they finally get the Doom on from Invis. No BKB pop by 33. They'll take him out. Bolt will connect from CCNC, but actually kind of puts him in harm's way. They don't have detection on person, though, and CCNC will make it away. But 33's death is going to set back the timer for this Aegis push quite a bit. Orange already down bottom lane, looking to kind of deal with the lanes, and top lane as a unit. Baidu pushing out.
Yeah, that death is critical for Baidu. It's not only a 60-second death timer, right? That's that long that they can comfortably push out these lanes together as a team where they aren't scared of getting jumped. So it's going to buy them like probably 2 minutes just with how far they can get these lanes out. So yeah, good stuff.
BKB queued up for the Doom as well. That'll be the entire Tricore with BKBs available once he can complete that. And he's only about 400 gold away. No other real big items to speak of. Lina will be at that level 20 mark pretty soon, so a nice talent to pick up for her there. X mid lane is going to catch the Warlock. The Tidebringer is there as well. Maledict, and they jumped over on the south side. Pycat with the Hex goes right in onto the Lina and finishes her off with a double damage rune. BKB popped up by Pycat. They know the Doom is off the table here, even without 33, making the move into the base. Zai in trouble is going to be earned up here, sticking around in the base. Pycat looking to press forward. Lincoln's is going to get popped. Now BKB bomb from the Luna, and she pops the cheese given to her by the Sand King. Gonna take out the Aegis and the Witch Doctor. Pycat
so many buybacks
into a world of hurt here. Will be able to blink out just before the LSA. Lina gonna buy back as well as the Warlock. He still has a rock, remember here. Looking to queue it up, but the Bloodseeker with the BKB and Blade Mail popped is able to take out the Sand King. No buyback available for the Sand King. There is Ward Vision in the base as well, as we saw Pycat use it earlier to take out the Lina. And it's just one big kill away. Doom, no buyback. Sand King, no buyback. Warlock and Lina, all no buyback. Luna is 200 gold short of hers. If Pycat can find a similar opening that he did there, that could be the window for OpTic to break base.
Look at how many buybacks were just used from the side of OpTic Gaming. None of them have buyback at all. Like, they're so heavily committed to being able to push. They did win the team fight, which was crucial, right? But without Aegis, you can't comfortably approach this high ground anymore. Now it's just a game of cat and mouse between, you know, these two teams if they can actually find the initiation first.
Scan from the Radiant is going to net a couple of heroes at least on OpTic's side, but no real vision in the area for the Radiant, so difficult for them to make that move out. They're just kind of prodding to see if they can push lanes elsewhere, and they'll use the Manta Illusions mid to kind of try and shove this out. Luna does forego the buyback to complete up her Lincolns as well. She would have been one of the only heroes in the game alongside CNC with it, but opts to complete the Lincolns and looking to push out mid now.
Yep, they're looking to see what they can find. Luna is ready to fight. The one thing they have against Luna is the Blink Scream of Pain, because it does fear for a second and a half. They can use that so Luna can't get her BKB off and then try to jump her that way. But, yeah, I mean, outside of that, you can't Blink Hex this hero anymore. There's no instant initiation. It's getting difficult.
Pycat level 25. First in the game to reach that milestone. It's going to be closely pursued by the Luna and the Doom.
Okay, OpTic smoke up, but it is under the ward of Baidu, so they know they're hovering around the mid lane, perhaps looking for a potential catch.
And Orange just feels completely safe to push in this top lane for the moment. We'll blink into the trees and make it back as he knows that the base push might be impending, seeing the smoke location. Zai gonna walk up to the high ground and just place down that tombstone. They don't have great building hitters. Pycat probably the best one for them. BKB gonna be popped though by Luna just to take out the tombstone. And OpTic, yeah, just gonna kind of kite this out. No tombstone available for them, but they do have the tombstone on death for the Undying.
All right, OpTic playing this very, very patiently. Luna does have no BKB currently, but, you know, they still are respecting the high ground. They know that if they walk up to this hill and die, and Luna lives, like, it's game losing, right? If Luna has buyback and they commit that hard for her, they're going to lose this game.
Even with a tier 1 standing in mid lane, you never want to lose without buyback to a Luna. And looking to work on the data list is CC&C. Of course, his buyback is one of the only ones for OpTic available, so he may look to keep or hang on to some of that gold he's got.
Oh man, this game is so tense from both sides, you know. Like,
just an incredible performance from Baidu, considering how bad the lanes went for them.
Yeah.
I mean, Luna was level 3, I want to say, at 7 or 8 minutes, and they have really stymied the bleeding.
Then we just didn't see Luna for a good 20 minutes, and she came out with some items.
.33 and CC&C been hanging around. We did see the AC get completed up by 33, so they're not the greatest building siegers. That'll help a little bit in that, right? It'll also help CC&C with the Tidebringer. It does have the, again, I had enough gold to purchase the data list, but for now, gonna keep buyback.
Yep.
They lose the tier 2 top finally here, 41 minutes in, do the Dire side. And again, Tombstone up to the high ground. They'll probably have PyCat throw a few right clicks. Again, BKB, they're going to be popped by BTY just to take out the Tombstone. Do they look to initiate on this now? Zai going to be soul ripped up, and Lincoln's spell block buff going to be popped on him as well. Wave clear for now seems to be sufficient for the Radiant side. And so far, the BKB for the Tombstone trade has seemed to work out for them.
It's pretty interesting to think that a BKB is worth killing the Tombstone, right? Like, that's enough to make OpTic want to back up. Like, Luna's BKB is at a 5-second duration now. This is as low as it gets. But they still just, they can't approach the high ground, really. That's as good as it gets. They don't have any hero that's designed to hit the buildings, right? Like, that's Queen of Pain if she has one more item or something.
And it's like you said earlier, right? They just don't really have great and quick disable. So an X or a Cask is not quick enough to help the Queen of Pain for the blink in and the Hex with the Lincoln's available for the Luna. So just very hard for her to initiate on them. Yeah. Scan going to find an illusion. It is CC&C's. But they won't fall for it on the Radiant side as they push out to the river.
You know, the longer this game does go on, though, it is basically Luna versus the world, right? Only Luna is really accelerating in terms of farm on Baidu. Doomy, it's a creep every now and then, but Lena's not really farming, right? Same items for the last, I don't know, 10 minutes almost.
Yeah.
So that is a growing problem, but, you know, it's hard to think that you want to play in the ultra late game with this combination of heroes. Like Kunkka obviously is very good in late game, right? When you get those crits going and you get that cleave, you can start one-shotting some of these heroes. Bloodseeker, you don't typically think of him as the greatest late game hero. Queen of Pain, same thing, but I mean, they can hang with these heroes as long as they have the right levels of farm.
Yeah, and to your point early on, 33 kind of went for this more carry-oriented build on the Bloodseeker. They did go for the right-click build on PyCat as well, so they can kind of hang in this late game. And like you mentioned, maybe some recognition of the fact that, you know, the Lina and the Doom aren't necessarily the biggest threats considering their positions in the game. But Luna is definitely the type of hero that can kind of 1v5 with the right squad around her.
Yep. You got the bounces into Fatal Bonds. You have so many things. That's, of course, assuming Warlock stays alive longer than 2 seconds in these team fights, but you know, you gotta hope.
Daedalus is complete for CC&C, so he's pretty safe to X himself and just clean the waves up.
And so begins the Roshan dance.
Yeah, the closer we get to TI. Well, Burrow Strike, before that thought, is going to find Zai. Cask going to fly out. Sentry is down onto Baidu King, but they don't fully commit in. Tombstone, Soul Rip will be there. They'll throw the Rupture out as well. And now Baidu King going to turn, but the BKB already there for the Bloodseeker. He's just trying to get it off before he dies. Luna, though, trying to work on the backlines, but PyCat has popped BKB. And the Eclipse not doing all that much with Zai back in the fight. Sonic Wave finishes off the Luna on the high ground. They find the Warlock as well. PyCat will finish him off. Double kill for the Queen of Pain. X is going to find CG. He'll go for the Yules. Does have the BKB available as well, but maybe just wants to save it. Well, I'm not sure what he's saving it for. He's got no buyback. He's down 90 seconds. 4 heroes down with no buyback. And OpTic, just like that, throw their Undying at the high ground and find the opening. Baidu just really not prepared, and they instantly make the call to go for the tier 4s. Baidu, after showing so much resolve in this one, Brax, in an instant, are going to throw it all away.
Yeah, that's kind of how these games work, right? When you have a one hero super farmed, you lose one fight and the game just ends instantly, right? Luna was playing with no buyback because she knows she can't afford to hang on to 3,000 gold. And, yep, fight just doesn't go their way. It was in an awkward area where they didn't get the right kind of jump. So, yep, OpTic, they take it. I sound a little disappointed because it just ends that abruptly.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys caught the end of that, but...
Yeah, what's up?
How are you guys doing?
Good. I think that game was OpTic is clearly a better team, but Team Baidu King is a decent team, and it felt more like OpTic should have definitely won that game a lot quicker. It felt they had some weird... I mean, they first drafted Bloodseeker, what you say now, Breaky, 4 times? Or 3
times? 3 of the 4 times. The only one wasn't against Leviathan yet.
Are they just doing this against, like, maybe the weaker teams? Well, they did it versus VGJ.
Yeah,
I actually
VGJ
don't
Storm,
know what's going on with them, but I'm excited to see Baidu play some of the other, like, Cold and Immortals, right? Like, because I think OpTic, VGJ, EG are the best teams, and they put up a good fight.
They did, for sure.
Isn't OpTic EG next, by the way?
OpTic EG, I believe, is next. That's some...
There we
go. I'm literally shaking right now from excitement, man.
Has EG played yet? I assume they played earlier today.
I'm looking.
At least one game.
No.
Is this their first match?
EG OpTic. They played.
OpTic's playing their 5th game, and EG's just playing their 1st game. Something about that seems
wrong.
But
then EG pretty much plays 5 in a row as well at the end, though. So it's the opposite.
Yeah.
It's gonna be interesting though, but I don't know. It'll be fun to see Baidu keep going. OpTic, they're now 3-1. They're 1 loss to VGJ Storm, which I think like these best of ones, right? They're toss-ups between like these 3 really top teams. Who knows what happens? And I do want to give a shout out to Pizza in a Bag. When you don't want pizza, but you want a bag, and you want pizza in that bag, it's bts.gg/pizza. 10% off. Use the code BTS. That stands for Beyond the Summit, not the K-pop group. And they've got buffalo, pepperoni, and supreme. bts.gg/pizza. And, you know, I've been enjoying it. MRP, I'll have to ship you a bag. It's an experience. It is an experience.
Yeah, I don't know anything about this pizza stuff up here in Canada, you know?
Wait, you guys don't have pizza in Canada? You guys have lasagna, right? That's a Canadian thing?
You know, we're catching up.
Yeah,
you're catching up.
You're catching up. You just got spaghetti in the 1800s, so that's good.
Is this real?
No, they have pizza in Canada. I went to Montreal once. And all they had was strip clubs, pizza joints, and like smokeries. And I was like, what's a smokery?
Yeah, that's it.
It was definitely something else. But that is the end of Team Baidu versus OpTic Gaming. After this, it's EG versus OpTic. I know people are going to want to watch that. I know it's going to be crazy. MRP, I believe you're casting that, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, so we will be back with MRP. Me, Breaky, Brax, we'll be back with MRP in about 5 to 6 minutes, so stick around and we'll see you soon.